Have you ever told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow you'll study English. Maybe tomorrow you'll exercise. Maybe tomorrow you'll begin writing that book you've always dreamed of. But then tomorrow comes, and somehow it becomes another tomorrow. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. Before you know it, another year has passed, and nothing has changed. So let me ask you one simple question. What is the dream you've been delaying? Think about it for a moment. Now ask yourself another question. What's really stopping you? Is it a lack of time? A lack of money? A lack of talent? Or could it be something much smaller? Something we all struggle with from time to time? An excuse. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about something that quietly steals dreams from millions of people every single day. It's called making excuses. The truth is that excuses are comfortable. They protect us from failure. They protect us from disappointment. But they also protect us from success. Imagine standing in front of a door. Behind that door is the life you've always wanted. A better career, better English, better health, more confidence, a happier future. The door is unlocked. You only need to open it. But instead of opening it, you say, maybe tomorrow. The next day, you say the same thing. Then another day. Eventually, the door is still there, but you've never walked through it. This is what excuses do. They don't usually stop us all at once. They stop us one day at a time. Let's think about something simple. Imagine two students who both want to improve their English. The first student says, I don't have enough time. The second student also has a busy life, but instead of giving up, she studies for just 15 minutes every evening. 1 year later, who do you think speaks better English? Of course, it's the second student. Not because she was smarter, not because she had more talent, but because she stopped looking for excuses and started looking for opportunities. Here's something interesting. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Successful people don't receive extra hours. They simply choose how to use the hours they already have. Sometimes we believe we need huge changes to improve our lives, but real success usually begins with very small actions. Reading 1 page, learning 5 new words, walking for 10 minutes, saving a little money, practicing 1 skill. These small actions may seem unimportant today, but over time, they create extraordinary results. Imagine filling a large glass with water. If you pour in only 1 drop, it doesn't seem like much, but keep adding 1 drop after another. Eventually, the glass becomes full. Success works exactly the same way. Small efforts become big achievements. Now, let me tell you a short story. There was a young man named Alex. Alex dreamed of becoming a photographer. He loved taking pictures. Every time he saw a beautiful sunset or a smiling child, he imagined capturing that moment forever. But Alex always had a reason not to begin. My camera isn't good enough. I don't know enough. I'll start when I have more money. Months passed. Then years. One afternoon, Alex met an old photographer sitting in a city park. The old man noticed Alex looking at his camera. He smiled and asked, "Do you enjoy photography?" Alex replied, "Very much." So why don't you become a photographer? Alex gave him a long list of excuses. The old man listened quietly. When Alex finished speaking, the old man asked just one question. How many photographs have your excuses taken? Alex was silent. The old man continued. A small camera used every day is more valuable than an expensive camera that never leaves the shelf. Those words stayed with Alex. The next morning, he stopped waiting for the perfect moment. He walked outside with the camera he already owned. His first pictures weren't amazing. Some were too dark, some were blurry, some were poorly framed. But he kept practicing. Every week, his pictures became better. A few years later, people were paying him to photograph weddings, nature, and family events. His success didn't begin when he bought a better camera. It began the day he stopped making excuses. Maybe you're waiting for the perfect time too. You're waiting until you feel confident. You're waiting until you have more experience. You're waiting until life becomes easier. But here's the truth. There is no perfect time. There is only today. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll spend your life watching other people chase their dreams while yours remain unfinished. Think about learning English. Many students say, I'll start speaking when my grammar is perfect. But how can your speaking improve if you never speak? Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs that you're learning. Every conversation teaches you something. Every mistake makes you stronger. Every new word opens another door. Don't let fear become another excuse. Because fear grows smaller every time you face it. The first step is always the hardest. But after you take it, the second step becomes easier. And then the third. One day you'll look back and realize that the hardest part wasn't learning. It was simply deciding to begin. So today, make one promise to yourself. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Take one small action. Because one small action today is worth more than 100 perfect plans that never happen. And this is only the beginning of your journey. Now, let me ask you another question. Have you ever noticed that excuses often sound reasonable? I was too busy. I was too tired. I'll do it next week. I need to prepare a little more. At first, these words don't seem dangerous. In fact, they sound perfectly normal. But when you repeat them every day, they slowly become habits. And habits shape your future. Imagine you have two friends. One always says, I'll do it later. The other says, I'll do it now. At the beginning, there isn't much difference between them. But after 1 year, everything changes. The first friend has many ideas, but very few results. The second friend has made mistakes, learned valuable lessons, and achieved goals that once seemed impossible. The difference wasn't intelligence. The difference wasn't luck. The difference was action. Remember this. Dreams don't change your life. Actions do. Many people spend years waiting for motivation. They think motivation comes first, but that's not how life works. Action comes first. Motivation often comes after you begin. Think about riding a bicycle. The hardest part is pushing the pedals for the first few seconds. Once the bicycle starts moving, everything becomes easier. Life works the same way. The hardest part of studying is opening the book. The hardest part of exercising is putting on your shoes. The hardest part of speaking English is saying the first sentence. After you begin, your mind starts to focus. Your confidence starts to grow. And suddenly, what seemed difficult becomes much easier. Now, I'd like to tell you another story. A young woman named Emma dreamed of becoming a writer. She loved reading books. She imagined seeing her own novel on the shelves of bookstores. But every evening, she found another excuse. I'm too busy. I'm not creative enough. Maybe next month. One day, her grandfather visited her. He noticed her notebook sitting on the table. It was almost empty. He smiled and asked, "How many pages have you written?" Emma looked down. "Not many." Her grandfather didn't criticize her. Instead, he gave her some simple advice. Write 1 page every day. Emma laughed. "Just 1 page?" "Yes," he replied. "Anyone can write 1 page." The next morning, she wrote 1 page. Sometimes she felt inspired. Sometimes she didn't. But she never skipped a day. After 1 year, those single pages became a complete novel. Her dream didn't become reality because she found more time. It became reality because she stopped waiting for perfect conditions. Success is often built one small step at a time. Let's talk about something else: comparison. Many people lose confidence because they compare themselves to others. They look at someone who speaks English fluently and think, "I'll never be that good." They watch successful entrepreneurs and think, "I'm too far behind." But here's what they forget. They are comparing someone else's 10th year to their own first year. That's not fair. Everyone starts somewhere. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled to say simple sentences. Every successful person once made mistakes that nobody remembers today. So stop comparing. Instead, ask yourself this question: am I better than I was last month? If the answer is yes, then you're moving in the right direction. Progress is more important than perfection. Now let's talk about discipline. Many people believe discipline means living a difficult life. Actually, discipline creates freedom. Imagine you save a little money every week. After several years, you have financial security. Imagine you study English for 20 minutes every day. After 1 year, you can hold conversations that once seemed impossible. Imagine you exercise regularly. Your body becomes healthier and stronger. Discipline may feel difficult today, but regret feels much heavier tomorrow. Every choice has a price. The price of discipline is small. The price of regret is much greater. Here's another truth. Your future is watching the decisions you make today. The person you become 5 years from now depends on what you choose to do this evening. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, today. That's why successful people focus on today's responsibilities. They don't worry about taking 1,000 steps. They simply take the next one. If you want to improve your English, learn 1 new word today. Read 1 page today. Listen to 1 English conversation today. Speak 1 sentence today. Those small actions may seem insignificant, but together they build something powerful. A strong future isn't created in 1 extraordinary moment. It's created through ordinary moments, repeated consistently. So don't ask yourself, how can I change my whole life today? Instead, ask, what's one positive thing I can do before I go to bed tonight? That single action could become the beginning of a completely different future. And remember, every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are now. They had doubts, they had fears, they had obstacles, but they made one important decision. They stopped making excuses, and they started making progress. As we come to the end of this message, I want to share one final story with you. There was once an old man who lived in a small village. Every morning, he walked to the top of a nearby hill and watched the sunrise. One day, a young man joined him. The young man looked frustrated. He said, "I have so many dreams, but my life never changes." The old man smiled and asked, "What do you do each day?" The young man thought for a moment. "I make plans." "Good," said the old man. "What else?" "I think about my future." "That's good too," replied the old man. "What else?" The young man became quiet. Finally, he admitted, "Honestly, I don't do much. I keep waiting for the right time." The old man pointed toward the sunrise. "Do you see that sun?" "Yes." "Has there ever been a perfect morning?" The young man looked confused. "What do you mean?" The old man continued. "Some mornings are cloudy, some are rainy, some are cold, some are windy, but the sun rises anyway." The young man listened carefully. The old man smiled. Success is the same. People who achieve their dreams don't wait for perfect conditions. They move forward, even when conditions aren't perfect. Those words changed the young man's life. And perhaps they can change yours too. Because the truth is this: life will never be perfect. There will always be challenges. There will always be unexpected problems. There will always be reasons to wait. But there will also always be reasons to begin. The choice is yours. You can spend years waiting for the perfect opportunity, or you can create opportunities through action. Think about your future self. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Imagine that future version of you standing in front of you today. What would they say? Would they thank you for giving up? Would they thank you for making excuses? Probably not. They would thank you for trying. They would thank you for being brave enough to start. They would thank you for continuing when things became difficult. Every great achievement begins with a decision to take responsibility, a decision to stop blaming circumstances, a decision to stop waiting, a decision to act. You don't need to change your entire life today. You don't need to accomplish everything this week. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to take the next step. One step. That's all. One step toward your dream. One step toward your goal. One step toward becoming the person you want to be. And then tomorrow, take another step. The journey of 1,000 miles is completed one step at a time. Never forget that. There will be moments when you feel discouraged. There will be moments when progress feels slow. There will be moments when you wonder if your effort is worth it. In those moments, remember something important. The people who succeed are not always the most talented. They are not always the smartest. They are not always the luckiest. Very often, they are simply the people who refused to quit. They kept showing up. They kept learning. They kept improving. They kept moving forward. And eventually, their small efforts created extraordinary results. Now, let's bring this message back to something many of us are working on right now. Learning English. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've forgotten words. Maybe you've felt nervous when speaking. That's okay. Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Every conversation is practice. Every mistake is a lesson. Every day you continue learning, you are getting stronger. Don't focus on how far you still have to go. Focus on how far you've already come. Celebrate your progress. Be proud of your effort. And most importantly, keep going. Because every page you read, every video you watch, every word you learn, and every sentence you speak is moving you closer to your goal. Before we finish, I want you to make a promise. Not to me, to yourself. Promise yourself that you will stop waiting for the perfect moment. Promise yourself that you will stop letting excuses control your future. Promise yourself that you will take action today, no matter how small that action may be, because small actions, repeated every day, can completely transform a life. Remember, excuses build walls. Action builds bridges. Excuses create regret. Action creates opportunity. Excuses keep you where you are. Action takes you where you want to go. So today, choose action. Choose courage. Choose growth. Choose progress. And choose the future you deserve. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this message, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Fluent English Hub for more inspiring English learning content. And remember, the day you stop making excuses may be the day your life begins to change. See you in the next video.